Welcome to this short video that illustrates some of the ways in which Braided Meetings helps you to create inclusive and efficient meetings that unleash the combined power of all the great minds in a team. Before we press play on the video, I'll explain what you can see on the screen. This is a braided meeting about to start, and even before the meeting starts, you can see some of the benefits. On the left-hand side, you can see a meeting title and description, a start time and an end time. On the right-hand side, you can see who is in the meeting and what the topics or agenda items are. It's a marketing meeting, as you can tell. So, let's press play and you'll see what happens. All of that has been set up in advance. Tina, who set up the meeting, had to think about the timing, who she needed in the meeting, and, just as importantly, who she didn't. She had to do all of that in advance and issue invite emails to the participants ahead of time. For Tina, that planning only took a few moments, but the benefits it delivers are huge. For the participants, they got the agenda and purpose in advance, so they could think about the issues in advance. And, no surprises here, that preparation means they will be much, much more effective in the session. So, even before we start the meeting, we have been clear on purpose, agenda, attendees, and timing, all things which help deliver better meetings. This is a relatively small meeting, with 5 topics and 4 people. You can have more if you want, but braiding is optimised for relatively small meetings, and that helps too, because smaller meetings are more effective. You saw that each person was lined up with a topic. That is where each person starts in the meeting, which will make sense as you see how the meeting evolves. The first thing you saw was a countdown. That is because braiding is a synchronous, inclusive meeting. It starts and ends at the same time for everybody, wherever they are in the world. That's really important. Braiding is a synchronous, real-time meeting in which people build on each other's ideas to make progress. So, the countdown reached 0 and the meeting started. Remember, you are watching Tina's screen. She was lined up with the PR topic, so as you can see, she is now on a window labelled PR. We call this her active braid. You can see the shape of what we call a carousel, on which all of the other topics exist. All the other participants are in the meeting and having similar experiences to Tina, but each of them are starting on a different topic. So Tina's active braid is PR, and right now, she is the only person who can add to that braid. Nobody can interrupt her. Nobody can distract her, and nobody can see what she is typing. Everybody else also has their own active braid, so in a braided meeting, everybody has the same time and opportunity to contribute. There is no audio and no video in a braided meeting. It is an entirely written form of communication. Many people struggle a lot with eye contact and worry a lot about how they are perceived in meetings. In a braided meeting, all of that goes away, so your whole brain can focus on the meeting topic. You might notice that there is no send button. Instead, the timer bar shows Tina how much time she has left on this topic. The same timer bar is visible to all participants. When the timer bar reaches the end, as you just saw, the carousel rotates 1 step. Tina's content is taken round to the person sat on her virtual left so that that person can read what Tina wrote and then respond. Tina, meanwhile, has a new topic of her own. In Tina's case, that topic happened to be blank, because as you saw in the setup, there were 5 topics and 4 people, so there was 1 empty seat, which happened to be on Tina's right. We've just moved forwards in the video, so I can show you how things look mid-meeting. Tina is now on the radio advertising topic. For her, this is the last topic in the first rotation of this carousel. You can see that Simi started on this topic, so when Tina was typing about PR, Simi was typing about radio advertising. Then, as the carousel rotated, it took the topic from Simi to Al to Jules and now to Tina. So Tina reads, thinks and writes. I want to talk briefly about interruptions. There aren't any. Interruptions aren't just rude, they damage productivity. If Tina was talking about radio advertising and a colleague interrupted her, Tina might lose her train of thought, not make the really valuable point she was about to make, and then it's gone. But here, because nobody can interrupt her, Tina can lay out the well-structured thoughts that exist in her head, and everybody benefits. I'm an interrupter. I talk too much and I know I interrupt a lot in meetings. My natural behaviour is to wait for someone to draw a breath and then jump in. I very rarely have anything smart to add, but this is the way my brain works. As well as being bad for the person I interrupt, it is bad for me too, because it affects my concentration. Half my brain is driving me to interrupt, half is trying to suppress that reaction because I know it's bad. That doesn't leave much brain power to apply to the actual meeting content itself. But in a braided meeting, I cannot interrupt. So my brain stops worrying about how to grab the microphone and dominate the conversation, and instead I make much more valuable contributions. So, in a braided meeting, everybody has the same time and opportunity to contribute, and everyone can do so uninterrupted. Now, the carousel just rotated again, and Tina is back on the PR topic, where she started. She can see what her colleagues said in response to her opening remarks, and she can now comment. So we have now had one full rotation of the carousel, and we are just starting our second rotation. For this meeting, Tina chose 2 full rotations of the carousel. She could have chosen a different number if she wanted. I just want to cover 2 inclusivity questions that are often raised. First, many dyslexic individuals find braiding really helpful for a couple of subtle but powerful reasons. Please get in touch if you would like to know more about this. Second, braiding is a web-based application and so is compatible with many accessibility tools such as grammar check-ins and speech-to-text tools. Braiding is also an amazingly efficient use of time. In a traditional half-hour meeting with 4 participants, you end up with half an hour of output, as each person contributes sequentially. If you ran that same meeting as a braided meeting, you would get 2 hours of output, as all the participants contribute continuously. That's 4 times as much output. That same traditional meeting is probably being dominated by the 2 loudest voices. If they had all the good ideas, that would be fine. But of course they don't. So half the good ideas will leave the meeting unspoken. But in a braided meeting, all the good ideas emerge, so you get twice as much input. With 4 times more output and twice as much input, you have a meeting that is 8 times more efficient than the same meeting in a traditional face-to-face or video format. That sounds extraordinary, but it is true. There are other benefits too. I'm just going to highlight 2 more. First, you have a full written record, and second, a braided meeting will always finish on time. Once you press start, it is not possible to extend a braided meeting. That was a deliberate design decision. If you haven't achieved the meeting objectives, you do the right thing and organise a follow-up meeting. You don't just steal time from the participants. So braiding is a simple but innovative new method of communication. Whilst it has some parallels with other communication methods, it really is like nothing else on earth. It can be used for all sorts of meetings. It is great for stand-up meetings and one-to-one meetings. It is also ideal for project meetings, innovation sessions, problem-solving sessions, and a host of other sessions too. Please contact us if you would like to organise a demo or just sign up for a free trial and give it a go yourself with no credit card required. You can find links for both of those on our homepage, braided.space. Thank you for watching.